In this Gibbs team, there's one rule: you don't mess with Ty. But I've had enough of his stuff, so it's dumping time. So let mercy come and wash away what I've done. I'll face Coach Gibbs and get him on his grandson. Get him to forgive and let go of what I've done. What I've done. Forgiving what I've done. Na 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 na.
What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? It is another edition of the Front Stretch Happy Hour show presented by My Place Hotels. I am your host, Mr. Bryan Nolen, supporting my team, the New York Jets, even though we are absolute terrible. And I'm bringing a couple of my co-hosts. One of them is a Green Bay Packer fan, as you can see, whose team is not terrible. That being Mr. Michael Massie. Massie, how are you, bud?
Well, we look pretty terrible on Sunday, but it's a trap game. It was a trap game. I'll say that. Yeah, I'm doing good. Happy to be here. Happy to talk some racing with you fine folks and have a guy on the. I'm jumping the gun a little, but a guy on the. We've been on his show many times, so kind of returning the favor here a little bit.
I'm going to bring in my other co-host, and thank God he covers NASCAR, because if he covered football or if he covered his favorite teams, he would be a very, very depressed Miami, Florida Gators sports fan. Dalton Hopkins, how are you? How are you taking your teams this year?
All my teams are dead. Push me to the edge because they're all dead. All my teams suck. Every single one of them. Yeah. You know what? I'm not even mad at Miami. I'm not even mad at losing. Because every single Gators fan going into that game, we all knew. We're like, it's all the Miami fans were trash talking, and we were like, yeah, we know. We know we're gonna lose. This is the most defeated I've ever been as a Gators fan.
That says a lot. That says a lot. One guy that definitely knows a lot about college football. We're not going to talk college football. You can definitely tune in to his show Monday through Friday on 93.3 FM Lynchburg and open VTR and Sports on Alexa and the VTR and Sports app. Mr. Ed Lane, how about that promo ad read for you, Ed? What did I do a good enough job for you?
You know, you did very well. Brian, Timothy, Dale Earnhardt Sr., Nolan Jr.
Love it.
Third. Is that
Love
how
it? Fantastic. Perfect. Love
Johnson,
it.
Gordon, Jr.
Sure. We just add names after. That's what Mark Crystal does. Mark Crystal just adds a couple names after whenever I talk to him. So shout out Mark.
I like it.
So you know, but Ed, we decided to have you on because your favorite driver, quote unquote, decided to get into a little bit of a little bit of an altercation on the racetrack on Sunday. Let's just dive on into our first topic, Mr. Ed Lane. I think you want to talk about your boy, Mr. Ty Gibbs.
Yeah, you know, see, here's the thing. He's learning the difference between an Xfinity altercation and a Cup altercation. Xfinity Series, especially with teammates, they might be afraid to stand up to you. Cup Series altercations, they would give a symbol like this, except 4 fingers would go down and there would be 2 remaining.
I have to ward off the evil spirits.
Too bad they couldn't do that Saturday night.
Nope, not at all.
But this is the difference. I mean, this is Ty Gibbs learning the hard way. And gosh, I am totally fine with this type of lesson for Ty Gibbs. He's got to mature. Like, as talented of a driver as he is, and when he's clicking, he still is close to being a contender in races. It's far too inconsistent. And the situational awareness, I mean, it's got to get better. Look, if he's battling for the win, I can completely understand why he would not yield position even to teammates racing for a championship. But he's riding, we're battling for 12th here. Like, what do points matter to you, Ty Gibbs, versus your teammates? There's a level of situational awareness and learning how to accrue positive favor for the future so that when, and we've been saying win for a while, over 100 races, but when he has a chance to win and a teammate might need to cut him a solid and do him a solid, you might actually be able to cash that in.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, but I will say I hope he doesn't take the criticism he's taking this week and overstep the other way, because I also don't want a system where teammates that aren't in the playoffs just pull over and let their guys go. He should race them. Now, he took it too far Sunday. Like, I thought what he was doing with Christopher Bell was worse than what he was doing with Denny Hamlin, because I mean they were door banging down the straightaway, and it was. I thought they were 3 wide for a while. I thought they were gonna just wipe out, and it wasn't a good look. And should Denny have dumped him for it? Probably not. I don't know that he meant to. He says he didn't really mean to. They meant to just kind of push him up the track after he chopped him, but I think Denny's a 20-year veteran. I think he kind of knows. But then again, it wasn't too different from the Shane Van Gisbergen and Josh Berry wreck earlier in the race, where Berry chopped down on SVG, and SVG kind of sent him spinning. And we don't hear quite the same, outrage for that, which it's not teammates, so it's not really the same. But it's just a difficult look for both parties, really. The main thing, though, I think, is that Ty Gibbs has not made a lot of friends since he's coming to NASCAR. The one guy that had his back this whole time, that really took him under his wing, was Denny Hamlin. He's the guy that I remember, after Ty's father sadly passed, the first press conference at the Clash that February, Denny put out a tweet that was like, anyone that's thinking about asking about that topic.
Oh, yeah.
And he's got, like, Denny's business manager has been, guiding Ty as well. So it's really that it's like you hurt your one ally in this whole thing. And that's probably, that's a relationship that probably isn't going to be what it once was. What do you think, Dalton?
Did Denny Hamlin, or did Ty Gibbs hurt Denny Hamlin, or did Denny Hamlin hurt Ty Gibbs? I see it as Denny Hamlin hurt Ty Gibbs.
Both.
I don't really see Hamlin being the victim here. Hamlin still got a top 10, right? Still a top 10, wasn't it?
I think he finished 12th.
He was 12th. Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, I apologize. So, I mean, but still, I mean, it wasn't a bad day, I want you to put yourselves into the shoes of Ty Gibbs for just a moment here. Let's rewind the clock back to 2022. You are the next phenom. You are the guy that is going to take NASCAR by storm. You've just won the Xfinity Series championship. You are about to go on and go to the Cup Series and win a bunch of races. You're going to inherit the Joe Gibbs dynasty, and everything is great. Everything is wonderful. And then tragedy, as Massie mentioned a couple minutes ago, tragedy happens just a couple hours later after you've won the championship. Ty Gibbs, ever since then, for the last 3 years, has had countless nonstop comments of, when are you going to win? When are you going to win a race? Why aren't you winning more races? Why aren't you winning 5 races a year? You're racing for Joe Gibbs, arguably the best team in the sport. and he hasn't done any of it. If you don't think he's feeling the pressure, he's feeling it every single race. He's feeling it every single day. And honestly, he does a little bit of a too good job of hiding it. Which kind of leads me into what I really want to talk about when it comes to this is the responses when they got out of the car. And Ty Gibbs doing the Kyle Busch approach of everything's great. Can't wait for next week. And then Denny Hamlin getting out of the car and saying, yep, I guess we got to talk about it, and so on and so forth. And not saying anything. Come on, man. Come on. Say something. Like,
I mean, technically he did say something.
No, you know what I mean. Do you know how popular Ty Gibbs would be if he got out of that care center and just railed the crap out of Denny Hamlin? Like, this is what people are talking about when they say drivers don't have personality anymore. This is what people are talking about. Say, like, just be mad. You're allowed to be mad. You just got wrecked. They were in the top 10, weren't they? Weren't they in the top 10?
Nah, it was like 8
Third.
Yeah, you're about like 12.
12.
Okay,
yeah.
so even better. You got wrecked while you were in like outside of the top 10, and it was still stage 2, wasn't it? It wasn't even like halfway yet. You're allowed to be angry. It's okay. Like, even if it's your own teammate, you just got dumped. So, and if Hamlin, I mean, he gets on his podcast and he says the things that he wants to say. Like, Hamlin's going to say what he wants to say. Say something. Like, let's make it interesting. Let's make it like you'll get fans out of that. You'll become more likable.
So is the problem then that he's not taking, like, Denny Hamlin knows what he's doing? Is it Ty Gibbs in this spot where he just back up the fact that either don't back down from your position, Ty Gibbs, or learn from your position and actually show you mean it?
Well, I'm sorry, Brian. I'm sorry. I just want to
go for it. Yeah, you go.
I
And then
just
I'll
want
say
to point
something.
out on Ty Gibbs's, according to Jeff Glock on Ty Gibbs's Instagram, he reposted the Kevin Harvick, the false happy hour podcast, in which
Amen.
Harvick said something.
Sure.
Harvick said something along the lines of, "Is that the moment that derails Denny Hamlin's 2025 championship?" He reposted that, and on Instagram, on his story with a finger emoji pointing toward the words, "Is that the moment that derails Denny Hamlin's 2025 championship?" Which tells me Ty might. That's the personality I'm talking about, by the way. That's what I want to hear out of him in front of a camera. If he really does feel strongly like that, like, I want to hear that. But at the same time, that also tells me that maybe there's more in store. And this is a Tuesday, right? This is Tuesday. This is after the Joe Gibbs post-race meeting, which tells me that whatever happened in that meeting clearly wasn't resolved. So I'm kind of interested to see what happens here going into Kansas, Brian.
Yeah, for me, I feel like Ty is just kind of like in a bubble where no one can talk to him or without like getting like in trouble, because like, I mean, DBC was talking about it. He's going to be like the next guy that is going to probably replace his grandfather at JGR. So they don't want to make an enemy of him. And I mean, we've heard the rumors. I mean, I'll just flat out say it. There's a reason why Corey Haim's not going to be in a JGR car next year. He's still holding a grudge back in the ARCA days. So, I mean, you can obviously tell Gibbs holds a grudge. So with that being said, it's just like, I feel like you need a guy, honestly, Massie, I feel like Chris Gabehart would be the perfect guy to talk to him about this, because Gabehart's been in the business for a long time, and he's seen the ups and downs. He's seen Denny go through it all. But I feel like he's just not getting the help that he probably wants. And I mean, listen, it must suck. He's been in his third year. He has not won. He doesn't do interviews. I was I think Jeff Gluck said that he's never even gotten a 12 questions interview from Ty Gibbs. Ty just does not do interviews. So it's just like, does he even want to like grow his fan base? He just goes in, goes out, does his job, and leaves. He just does not care. So I don't think he will retaliate. But Ed, I do got a question for you. According to one of your employees, Mr. Trey Lyle says, Ed, do you think Coach Prime could help Ty out? Trey Lyle, one of our friends, has a question for his other boss.
First of all, I appreciate Trey for helping us with the algorithm. I don't know if Coach Prime could, maybe Bill Belichick could, maybe someone from the Dallas Cowboys could, perhaps a sit down with Arch Manning or Shador Sanders could. Have I checked off all the boxes to make sure that our trending metrics go through the roof by mentioning the buzzwords that will get us
Jordan? You did not say Jordan. We love Jordan.
Yeah, I forgot about Coach Jordan.
Yes. My bad.
Yeah. Show her some respect. She knows a lot. X's and O's.
Something. I don't know if it's that, but it's something.
I don't know about X's and O's football. Maybe
Producer chiming in here. You forgot Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift.
Yeah. Thank you. We'll take all the help we can get. I think, is aloof the right word for Ty Gibbs? Like the way that he comes across, is it willfully aloof? Because I could do a whole spiel on how this is what happens when it's intentionally set up for Ty Gibbs to take over the company, but it doesn't seem like he has the remotest idea of how to relate to people, to connect with people, to do the things that are necessary on a top-down level. And, I mean, people love to bag on Austin Dillon, but the guy, first of all, has won races. Second of all, he seems to at least be reasonably well-respected with Richard Childress Racing. Ty Gibbs doesn't seem like he's done it. It's almost like Denny Hamlin finally said what everyone at that organization has wanted to say to Ty Gibbs, but they're afraid of it. And Denny Hamlin's just like, I own my own team. I'm suing NASCAR. I've got Michael Jordan behind me. Middle fingers to anyone that wants to come after me because I'll be fine.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. I do think that, Brian, you mentioned Chris Gabehart. It could be a guy to talk to him. And Gabehart has been on his pit box for the past, a couple months now. And I have noticed a difference in not in his public persona, but in his racing. He's gotten better since then. I mean, the guy, if he doesn't blow pit road entry, he probably wins Bristol. And then we're having a whole different conversation. He probably doesn't block Bell and Denny that hard if he had just won Bristol, because that monkey's off his back finally. But yeah, I do think that these guys need to talk to him. He needs to be more public with this stuff, because like this week, like Dalton, you were saying, Denny's going to get on his podcast. Well, he already did, and say, lay out his side of the story, put the narrative in his favor. Whereas Ty had a chance to do the same, and he hasn't done that. I mean,
does he even care? I don't think he cares though. Because like Trey just said, he's done this before. He did it to Brandon Jones, his own teammate, and Brandon Jones would have advanced to the championship.
And Brandon did nothing wrong.
No, Brandon, poor guy.
Yeah, all he did was beat him on a restart.
Yeah,
just sent him into oblivion. But yeah, it's too bad to see this. But I will say it's a little bit of a throwback, because not that long ago, guys hated having teammates. Like Dale Earnhardt would have blocked Mike Skinner that hard if he was trying to pass him. Rusty Wallace would have blocked Jeremy Mayfield that hard. Those guys hated their teammates. So maybe we're circling back around. Probably not, but it's just interesting to see. And you mentioned Austin Dillon. The other thing Austin's done is he's been very vocal about the company over himself. Like, after he won Richmond, he's like, oh, I'm going to push Kyle Busch. I'm not leaving his bumper this whole Daytona race. And it didn't work, but still, it's that dedication to the team that he's going to run someday. And, if Ty Gibbs, if his last name was something different, I could understand, like, who cares about your teammates? You end up the fourth best one, you get replaced. Like people keep trying to do with Alex Bowman, but like it's the fact that it will be his someday. The fact that one day he's going to have to schmooze sponsors like Joe Gibbs does. Like Joe Gibbs is really good at that. Schmoozing Bass Pro Shops and FedEx all those years and M&M's all those years. Like that's a skill that a car owner needs. That's an area where I don't see Ty being very good at. And he's just going to have to get better being in front of people. And I don't know how you teach someone that, but it's got to happen.
I'm sorry, Brian. I know we got to move on.
You're good. I was going to say a comment that the Stig said the most important job a racing driver has is leading and motivating his team. And in this aspect, Gibbs is clearly failing. So, Dalton, I agree with that comment. I have not seen him being a leader. I know he's 22, but still, you're in the National Premier Series in NASCAR.
But to Massey's point, though, in the sense of being a car owner, in sense of being a team owner, and having to schmooze sponsors, as you put it, he's not. How do I put this? He's not failing at that. He's just neutral at the moment. So maybe there will be a time where we see a little bit more of a positive side to it. Like there's no negativity there. Like maybe he is kind of training himself to be somebody that is better at working with sponsors, working with PR, working with media. And maybe that's something that he has struggled at in the past. So maybe that's a possibility, and maybe he is a lot smarter than honestly. I 100% believe that Ty Gibbs is a funny guy behind the scenes. I really do believe that, because I look back at some of the things that he did and he said when he was still in the ARCA, and I mean he was a fun guy. He was a fun kid. So I wonder if there are moments where maybe he is kind of taking the mature route behind it and knowing and realizing that like eventually sometime soon I'm gonna have to take over this massive organization, and I'll have to play the PR game, and maybe he's training himself to do that. God does sponsor him, Trey. Trey Lyle just said he does say how much he loves God, and that's one of his sponsors. God does sponsor him.
Speaking of Trey Lau, he will be on the next Front Stretch Podcast Network show, bringing the heat with Trey Lau, and a former familiar guest as well, Mr. Davey Siegel, will be on the program. So stay tuned to that podcast. Got to plug that. I told Trey I would, so I had to make it the right time, Trey. I finally got it. So that is on Thursday afternoon, wherever you find your podcast. Any final thoughts on this topic before we dive on into potential championship favorites?
Does Ty Gibbs even want to be an owner at Joe Gibbs Racing? Or is this more... Yeah. I often wonder this because I've seen it. Most people may know I do sales as well in my day job. And I can't tell you how often I've seen... And this is an old man problem where like old men, not women all the time, men are all concerned about their legacy and lineage. And it's, I want to have something to leave to my kids. Well, what if your kid doesn't want what you're trying to leave to them? And therefore they're not necessarily bought in. And then, I mean, are you doing a disservice to everybody else knowing it's going to blow up and fail? Criticize the Dallas Cowboys all you want. And their on-field product has been terrible, and their football decision-making has been lacking. Let's just say that. But from how to operate a business standpoint, it clearly has made sense. And Jerry Jones' offspring have all been involved for decades and shown they want to be involved in this operation. But there are other times where it's like, God, what's the repair shop in the Chris Farley movie?
Callahan Auto Parts.
Yes, where it seems like that's how this is being run. And I'm not saying Joe Gibbs Racing is on that level because they are a championship level sustained organization in NASCAR, but is their succession plan similar to that as opposed to, and I know Joe Gibbs would bristle over this, but the Dallas Cowboys, which are a well-run enterprise, not from a football standpoint, but from a business economics perspective.
So we just need Ty Gibbs to gain about 150 pounds and then put on the same driver suit he's in now and then start singing "Fat Guy."
Go on a road trip with David Spade.
Bring him in.
I don't even know how to transition. I was trying to do a clever transition. I'm just going to move on to our second topic.
We should.
Yeah, exactly. Dalton, what is on your mind, Sunshine? What did you want to bring to this show?
Man, oh man. So yeah, we got to talk about Penske, right? Because I just wrote the column on Sunday. If you haven't checked it out, go check it out. Thinking Out Loud at New Hampshire. Penske. I can't try to remember the title. Penske has won the championship already, haven't? Penske's going to win the championship, aren't they? Or something, win the title, aren't they? That's what it is. Yeah, because after New Hampshire, boy, here we are, right? Because they led the collective combination of, thank you, Penske is going to win the title again, aren't they? Joey Logano, Ryan Blaney, and Josh Berry, pseudo teammate to Penske, all three of them led a combined 273 laps out of 301. That is dominance in every essence of the word. The rest of that was honestly just pit stops. Like that's pit strategy. Like it was dominance in every essence of the word. And when you have such a good car, such a good organization, such a good garage, that you can have the Wood brothers drive up to the front and almost win the race and finish second, which would have been their second win this year. The first time they've done so since 1981. That would have, that you've got a great organization. And what scares me the most, maybe scares isn't the word, but what makes me think about this the most is New Hampshire is a flat track, very similar to Phoenix. They were using a very similar tire to what they're going to use at Phoenix, and Joey Logano and Ryan Blaney led a combined 263 laps. How many times have we gone to Phoenix in the last 3 years? We've gone to the finale at Phoenix, and it's been either Ryan Blaney or Joey Logano. Here we go again. Team Penske is going to win this title. Massie, it's not an odd year, but Joey Logano, man. What do you think?
I think that what I've just seen in front of me is just like, I don't even recognize you anymore. The person that's so anti-championship favorites is out here all of a sudden.
Oh, yeah.
Declaring.
Listen. When if it was like Daytona and Denny Hamlin won, okay, chill out. Right? That's not how it works anymore. But this is a pattern we've seen the last 3 years. I have to recognize game. Game recognizes game. And I have to look at these patterns that we've seen the last 3 years.
Yeah, I'm just giving you a hard time. You aren't right about this.
No, he's right. He's right. I hate that. I hate those headlines.
Deep down, you love it. Don't lie. Deep down, you love it.
I don't. I hate them.
Like Chris Gabehart afterwards, we're mentioning his name a lot tonight. Was saying that they got it. They're basically untouchable. Me just paraphrasing. And James in our comments left a funny comment that my favorite Game 7 moments in sports. I'll start with one of the teams after Game 1 saying, "Yeah, the team's gonna kick our ass in Game 7." Which, hey, that's the first round in the NBA playoffs. So, yeah, that does happen in other sports because when you keep expanding playoffs, that happens. But anyways, I digress. Blaney is I put the spotlight on Blaney specifically. That's my championship favorite right now because he is fast every single week and can pass at tracks where they say passing is impossible. And it looks like the whole bad luck Blaney thing is gone now, and he's just good everywhere. Joey Logano, I have not seen the speed he was great this past week, but consistently. And look, I think he'll move on to the next round. I still don't think Logano is going to make the championship 4. First, because it's an odd number year, so it says in the Constitution Joey Logano can't make the championship 4.
Does it?
On odd
Does it
numbered years.
really?
I think that's Article 25 of the Constitution. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Hold on, I'm gonna search it. Hold on, stand by. Article 25 of the Constitution. It
Or it should be
says
Article 22.
Yes, there it is.
Article.
But yeah, so I just don't think he has quite the points. For when it resets next round, he's not going to have quite the points. All it's going to take is a bad run at Homestead, getting caught up in a wreck at Talladega, and he might be in a situation where he has to win Martinsville, and he's got Ryan Blaney, who's the best at Martinsville right now, is probably going to win it instead. So I feel really good about Blaney. I'm also sad that Josh Berry got knocked out, because if he's had the speed. Berry's had the speed. He started top 5 at Darlington. It was so hard to pass there. So if he could just finish these races, he would have made this next round and then had a great first race of this round. He'd be like a dark horse round of 8 guy. But yeah, sadly, I think it unless barring something happens, barring a caution with 10 to go and Blaney loses 10 spots on pit road at Phoenix or something like that, I feel like it's Blaney's championship to lose. What do you think, Ed?
I would say Blaney is the most likely to do this. I'm going to channel my through the gears thinking from the Front Stretch Podcast Network. Blaney is the favorite. He deserves to be the favorite because they can now focus really on picking one race out of the round of 8 and say, let's go win this race. Hold steady at Homestead, tag team at Talladega, and then Blaney has a good foundation at Martinsville to where I don't know if he will be the favorite, but he should be considered one of the heavy favorites at Martinsville. And that might in and of itself just be enough to point his way in. If I am looking at it from a betting standpoint, because Blaney is plus 370, Logano is 15-1. And if you're presuming, and they are very good on plate races, tapered spacers like Talladega, and presuming that there's a good chance that Penske and Ford would be working well together there as well, I don't have enough faith in Austin Cindric to get out of this round. But if you're saying, who would you take from just a raw, where's the value right now? I would put it on Joey Logano because he could easily win any of those races. He pulled the Vegas win out of his a couple years ago to win a championship. The program itself at Penske is very good at tapered spacers, and Logano is not Blaney at Martinsville, but he's good enough. And if he gets to Phoenix, then all of a sudden you're looking at basically it's Penske versus Penske. And from an odds standpoint, I'd take the long shot, maybe not to win, but you're in a decent enough position to figure out what you want to do when you get there. So if you're saying who I think is more likely to win a championship, I think it's Blaney. But if you're telling me what driver out of the field right now outside of Blaney has the best value, I don't see how you wouldn't look at Joey Logano just because of all those factors that his team has going for them.
Real quick, no, Coleman, I did say Homestead. That was a brain fart on my end.
Oh, Michael.
Vegas. See, they messed me up by having was 1 year where Homestead isn't in the end of the playoffs. And next year it goes right back in the playoffs. So good catch there, Noah. I meant Vegas. Good catch.
I do want to ask a question real quick. What happened to this whole high praise of Team Toyota you boys been talking about the past couple of weeks?
I never did. I vehemently denied it. Because I knew that was not going to stick around. I knew that Toyota was not going to be this nonstop dominant force for 10 straight races. It doesn't happen anymore. I knew that.
I seem to recollect after Darlington, you said Chase Briscoe's championship favorite.
1,000% agreed. Yes.
After Gateway,
I totally
you said
agree.
Denny Hamlin's
Chase
favorite.
Briscoe, not all of Toyota, and he still looks great.
After Gateway, you said Denny Hamlin, and after Bristol, you said Christopher Bell.
No. All right, now you're just making crap.
We need
up.
to slander Chase Briscoe. Slander him.
Amen.
Maybe, you know, I mean, as the guy who's holding the 28-1 ticket for him to win the championship, which I don't think he'll quite get across, because if he gets to Phoenix and has to go up against Penske, I don't like his odds. But you know, we need him to get there. So I mean, you know, my bank account after going to the vet today for 2 dogs.
Ooh, been there, done that. Not fun.
You know whose show I went on to vehemently deny that Toyota was going to be the championship favorite? This guy
Ed
right
Lane.
here.
Right
Mr. Ed
here.
Lane show just last week.
Or
I
if I
said
wanna-
it.
If I want to channel my wife, whoop, whoop, with the sound effects, she might be knocking on the door soon and telling me I'm number 1 in her heart.
With not that finger. It's a different kind of finger.
Yeah, the Ty Gibbs, Denny Hamlin type
Yeah.
fingers.
Pretty much. For me, it feels like it's a Team Penske, but I'm not going to count out JGR. Chase Briscoe has won at Phoenix in the past. Christopher Bell. I mean, when Bell was winning those 3 straight races, everybody was like, "Oh, if he gets to Phoenix, he's going to be the favorite," and that was like after race number 4. So I'll never count him out. And then I've said it. I mean, I say it every year, but I'm still going to continue to say it, that I think it's Denny's year. So I mean, there's realistically 7 possible championship contenders. So sure, that a flat track like New Hampshire, a flat track like Phoenix, people are going to think that Team Penske is going to be the favorite, but we still got a long way to go, Massie. So I think we just need to, and Rod says no respect being shown to the 5. And for those that say that, we're going to a track in Kansas that this was his last win. That was in early May. We're now in late September. So if he does not show any kind of speed whatsoever, or if he's not running top 2 or top 3, no disrespect to all those 5 fans, but I really do not see him as a championship contender, Massie.
Yeah, first off, hey Billy, what's up?
Billy, my buddy.
But yeah, you know how the 5 can ensure, and his other 10 Hendrick guys and the Gibbs guys can ensure that Penske doesn't win the championship? Box them out of Phoenix. That's what you do. You just make sure. I mean, hey, Larson, all he has to do is do what he did at Gateway a couple more times. Just spin Blaney out every time he gets to him, and you won't see him at Gateway. But yeah, that's the biggest thing, is like, you get behind a Penske guy at Martinsville, nail him, knock him out the way. Like, raise the stakes on this thing. If you want a championship, go out there and keep these guys out of the championship 4.
I couldn't have said it best.
So then, can I interject?
Yeah, go for it, Ed.
Do you think the scenario then pops up where Penske is more aggressive at Talladega, presuming both Logano and Blaney? I'm not optimistic Cindric gets to the round of 8, but let's say it's Logano and Blaney. Is Penske very opportunistic at Talladega so they can try to get one of those drivers a win there and then turn the other over to what happens at Martinsville?
Ed, there's going to be a wreck at Talladega because someone is not going to push someone, and then they're going to go 4 wide, and all hell is going to break loose because you're going to have a guy that's probably wanting to push his teammate, and then you're going to have a different manufacturer, different guy that is not going to want to work with them, so they're going to push the envelope, and all hell is going to break loose. It's going to happen, Dalton. It's just what lap is it, not if it's going to happen.
Yes.
That's the analysis I love. Love it.
Ryan Preece is going to win Talladega.
Well, you're not on the Chris Buescher bandwagon anymore. It's moving on to his teammate.
I have not been on the Chris Buescher bandwagon for a long time.
Oh.
So let's.
No, I'm not mad.
Buescher will get the win after Preece gets DQ'd.
True.
Yes. After Buescher pushes him to a win.
Exactly. Last but not least, final thoughts on this topic before we dive into our third and final topic of the evening. 1, 2, and let's move on. Before we dive on into our last topic of the evening, we'd like to give a shout out to our presenting sponsor in My Place Hotels. They are proud to be the official hotel sponsor of Front Stretch. Plush beds, in-room kitchens, pet-friendly hotels. My Place makes for the perfect pit stop when you're traveling. Race fans can use the promo code FRONTSTRETCH. Once again, FRONTSTRETch, FRONTSTRETCH, to save 10% on your stay at any of our nationwide properties. Once again, 10% off nationwide. All you got to do is use the code FRONTSTRETCH. So this racing season, make sure to make My Place your place. Last but not least, gentlemen, let's dive on into our final topic of this evening. In New Hampshire, it's been a little bit of everywhere in the calendar, and for the first time in it feels like since probably the 10 race chase, it was back in the playoffs, and it felt different. It felt there was more passing. There was obviously more carnage. We saw that big wreck because Brad Keselowski doesn't know where the inside of the wall is apparently, but that's okay. I wanted to get your thoughts on just where New Hampshire deserves to be in the schedule. Your thoughts on the race, and should it maybe potentially be in the playoffs in the years to come? Obviously, next year it'll be the second race before the start of the playoffs, so it won't be next year, but in the years to come. Did you guys see enough to have it back in the playoffs in 2027?
I don't think. No, I didn't. That doesn't mean it was a bad race. That doesn't mean New Hampshire is any less of a interesting track. I mean, if we're gonna look, if we are gonna put it in the playoffs, if they do decide to put it back in the playoffs in 27, like maybe round of 16, but not round of 12. I don't think New Hampshire really should be this late in the season. It puts on a good show. I mean, it's okay. It wasn't the worst track we've had this whole year. And the tires wore out, the tires were a factor. It wasn't as huge of a factor as we've seen with a lot of the short tracks. So if we're going to put a track into the playoffs that's not currently in the playoffs, I would rather have Richmond in there than New Hampshire.
I got you.
How do our two resident Virginians feel about that?
It's beautiful.
I know there's the politicking side of it. One is an SMI track, the other is NASCAR owned, and there's some juggling that goes into that. Would NASCAR want to give up one of its other more coveted tracks or not? Richmond seems like it's kind of settled in, for better or worse, to that mid-August date on the schedule. I don't know if the weather is that much better. It's kind of, maybe it's hot and humid in this time of year, mid-September versus mid-August. It's kind of a roll of the dice, if you will. But I'm not overly convinced that Richmond is necessarily deserving of a spot somewhere in the chase based on it's being good but not great racing. I think you're kind of Richmond and New Hampshire have kind of been in the same boat where it's been better being surrounded by the chase either right before or right after. I think has helped it, but I don't think it's organically stood out on its own. Either one of them is these great tracks that, let's just say, if you put it in April or May, they're going to produce good racing. And that to me is a barometer of, okay, if it can produce great racing when there's not as much at stake, then imagine what it could do in the playoffs. I don't think either of them fit that description.
Yeah. Paul says it needs to be September time for the fans and the racing. That's coming from a New Englander. Paul is one of our watch party fans. Shout out to you, Paul. For me, I think it was good. I just don't think it was great. Is there a better replacement? Maybe a Richmond, sure. I do think if you want to keep it in the playoffs, start with the round of 16, maybe move. Don't move Bristol. Maybe switch that and Gateway around. I don't know. I'm glad I'm not in charge of the schedule. That's for sure. But I mean, it was a fine race. I was entertained, but it wasn't like a rock'em sock'em. This is the greatest race in the history of mankind, you know. So I thought it was serviceable. It kept me entertained for a few hours.
Yeah, the thing is, like, what we had on Sunday is kind of as good as it gets at New Hampshire.
Mm-hmm.
It was a good race. It kept me entertained, but I feel like you want your best tracks in the playoffs, which, hey, if there's no playoffs next year, then all this conversation doesn't even matter. It doesn't matter when your race date is. But I don't know. Apparently that's we'll talk about that in a second, or maybe. But yeah, the New Hampshire thing, I kind of like it as like a summer thing. I would love to have it in like February or November. And then we could
be like 20 degrees.
Pull out the snow tires.
Oh God!
Be like that thing Josh Balicki was racing with the skis out in front of it. But no, I kind of liked it. It's like, I don't know, maybe you could do like early spring or right before the playoffs where it is. I just don't know that it had a great crowd. I'll give it that. But I feel like there's too many flat, like 1 mile-ish ovals in the playoffs right now. And now I'm not saying you should go put a bunch of super speedways and road courses in their place, but just some variety. Like, I'd like to see, like, throw Pocono in the playoffs one year, or throw Dover. That's another 1 mile oval, but not a flat one. Like, just switch things up every once in a while. So it's like a steady rotation of tracks coming in. Like, keep your steady ones, like Bristol, Darlington, Homestead, Martinsville. Like, keep those in the playoffs every year. But I think you should have like 3 or 4 like rotating ones that are changing every year, just so every track can kind of get their fill of the playoffs.
Speaking of playoffs, Mr. Michael Massie, our last topic of this evening. Do you want to bring it up? What is on your mind?
Yeah, so playoffs. We're talking about playoffs.
Great transition. Fantastic segue. That was flawless.
Thanks,
Totally
guys.
original too.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Teamwork, brother. Teamwork.
There you go. Teamwork makes the dream work.
Boom.
So look, I know anybody who watches this every week is probably like, oh, you guys are talking playoffs again, but there's a reason. And it's because this past week, the playoff committee had their final meeting. Now, they didn't vote on anything, but they gave their ideas to NASCAR, and NASCAR will take it and, make their decision. Another bigger development was the NBC said that, after there was a lot of criticism of them, they were saying like, oh, we only have this system because NBC wants it. I think NBC caught wind of like the negative PR they were getting for that. And they're like, hey, we don't want you guys make your own decision. We don't want any part of this. You do what's best for you. So that's another development in that whole deal. And the other thing that was Jeff Gluck said on the teardown, the Athletics Jeff Gluck, that when they first met, when the playoff committee first met, there was only one person vocal about going back to full season points. And I think we can guess who that one person is.
Yeah.
Maybe a guest on the Happy Hour podcast a couple months ago. I don't know.
Yeah,
But
he might
he's
be
been-
making his mark on this playoffs.
Hey, did it do?
Good. But so now in this most recent meeting, he said there's like half a dozen people, which I don't know how many are on the committee.
I think 40.
Yeah, maybe 40 people.
I think so.
Okay. So that's a pretty good chunk. I mean, it's not nowhere near like a majority, but not even a quarter, but that's still like, it's interesting that it's gained momentum. And they talked about a couple of the different things they might go to. It sounds like though that the one race win all championship 4 is probably gone after this year. But yeah, what do you guys make of this playoff talk? Ed, I've heard these guys talk about playoffs for weeks now, so I want your perspective on this whole thing.
I don't detest the chase for the playoffs because it does add a different level of intrigue in how people race, and it does prioritize wins over the course of the season. I'm not a fan of one race to end the playoffs. That's my one caveat would be even if you extended it out and you made it a 24 race regular season and just did 12, you did 3 races, cut to 12, 3 races, cut to 8, 3 races, cut to 4, and then another bracket of 3 races. So you've got different variety, and you might have a game 7 moment in that, best of 3 final race stretch. You may not. Well, in sports, some years you do get that, and some years you don't. If you were to go back to the full season points, which I'm not totally opposed to that, but you have more teams that may be just playing for wins or just racing for wins because there's not much else over the course. So I don't know if that changes it. You've got to get rid of the Latford system. If you're going to come up with a point system in the regular season, my barometer is, can I explain this to my wife and mom easily? Or is this going to be something that I have to explain in some ridiculous complex formula because Mr. Latford, I don't know if I should say RIP or not, because I don't know if he's still with us or not. If he is, Mr. Latford, with all due respect, if he's not RIP, then, we've got to come up with a better point system that's more easily explained. I rarely will credit Formula One as actually matching up to the hype around it, but the way their point system works makes a lot more sense than what you get in NASCAR. And if you're to do the 36 races and that's all it is, it's got to be something, I would say, easily digestible. And I would still say emphasizing not stage wins, but race wins more than anything else, because I'm fine with drivers getting aggressive toward the end of the race, knowing it can totally change your outlook over the course of the season.
I have been a very vocal advocate of returning to the chase format. The 10 cars, 10 drivers. You get to race 26 and then you cut it off and you got 10 drivers. Go. Like that's like you said, Ed, picture it now. Like somebody asks you, you're trying to get somebody into NASCAR and somebody asks you, how does the playoffs work? How do the playoffs work? How does the NASCAR playoffs work? Well, instead of saying, well, they have to win the stages, and then according to how many stages they win, that adds up to the amount of stage playoff points they get, and then of course the points races, of course the races they win, that's 5 points, and then if they finish first place in the regular season, they get 15 points. If you're in the top 10, you're in the top 10 in points, you're in the playoffs. And then you have 10 races. Go. That's what I've been saying for years. I think, look, the 36 race format, I'm very sorry, but realistically, we're not going to see that again. I know that what Jeff Gluck said, I know what he said on the teardown and everything like that. I know what he said, but realistically, I don't think we're going to see that again. I don't think networks are going to go for that. And despite what NBC said, but I do believe that a 10 race format is still exciting. It's still interesting, and it still seems legitimate. I want to see, you know what? Ultimately, I'll even be satisfied if they get rid of this one race finale. Just get rid of that. Even if it's like a 3-race finale, okay, I'm satisfied. Like, it's a step in the right direction, right? And a lot of drivers said that at Bristol when I asked them. So I think this 10 race, you can even keep the stages. You can even give them the bonus points entering the 10 race finale, the 10 race stretch or whatever. You can even give them that. Make wins matter. You know what? Make wins matter. Like, you can give them points. But at the same time, like, if you're gonna do the whole win and you're in thing, you can do that. But that also means that with a 10 driver field in the playoffs, you can't just win one race. You got to win more than that, I feel like. And if you only win one, you're going to be fighting for that last playoff spot. Brian?
A couple things here. Paul, a game 7 moment is basically just the final game where everything happens, the winner take all. It creates all the drama, the excitement. So it's definitely not made up. But here's the thing: as much as I would love a 36 race system, that's not going to happen. Everybody, including NASCAR, wants that drama, and sure, we've all got fed up with the one race win and you win the championship. I'm okay with leaving that. With that being said, maybe a 3 race or a 4 race, something like that. Maybe make it like a what's next year? Talladega, Phoenix, Martinsville, and then Homestead, and then you have like 4 guys or something. I personally, Dalton, I like your idea, but I do feel like NASCAR is going to push back on that, saying we need something for the win and you're in. Basically saying you need to have a win to get in, because they want that drama coming into Daytona at the very final race of the regular season. They don't want, I mean, SVG, do you want him to win 4 races and him not to make the playoffs? So it's just like, where are you going to find that happy medium? Is it going to be like the 2 drivers outside of the top 10 that have the most wins, they are in the playoffs or something? I don't know. It's such a it's so frustrating. And the Stig says it's a video game system right now. It works if you play a video game and actually experience it a bit. The thing is, though, my mother does not play video games. My wife does not play video games. My wife's family, besides my brother-in-law, does not play video games. So it's just like, how do I explain it to them?
Top Gear's the Stig just commented on our podcast.
So it's I just want there to be a point system where I can properly explain it to people, dumb it down for people, Michael, because it's so complex right now. I just give up.
Yeah, and Coleman, I agree that the 2011 to 13 is kind of the good compromise on all that, where it was top 10 in points and then 2 winners,
2 wild cards.
Yeah, which I've said on here before. If we keep having playoffs, they're not shrinking it because no sports are shrinking playoffs. So you could just do 6 winners outside the top 10, and if there's not 6 winners outside the top 10, just let more guys in points in. But my thing, Dalton, you said the 36 full season isn't coming back. I think it's not coming back next year. I think it's coming back next time because I think they're going to pick something. It's NASCAR. They're going to pick the worst option on the table.
Sure does.
And then in a couple of years, we're going to be like, this system stinks. And then finally, I think the full season will have built enough momentum to be reinstated. Because here's the other thing, too. I think more people want the full season than vocally say so. Because for a while, it's like if you say, I want to get rid of the playoffs. It was, you're old. You're stuck in 1998 or whatever. But as time has gone on and younger fans are introduced, those younger fans that weren't even around for when we have full season points, they look at it and they see Formula One, they see IndyCar having these full season titles. Cars Tour has a great one coming down to the wire right now. And, they're like, why can't we have that for NASCAR? Let's see what that looks like for NASCAR. So I think that as time goes on and, it's just like style, like everything in our culture kind of comes back around eventually. I think that it will come back, just not this time.
Ryan Blaney, according to Steven Stumpf in his stat sheet article, is now just 19 points behind William Byron for most points scored across the entire season. There's your 36 race argument. Ed,
we could
have
that.
Yeah. Final thoughts before we wrap it up. Does anyone Trenton, our producer, he has a question for Dalton Hopkins.
You kind of addressed it. It was regarding the adding it to 12 and those 2 drivers having a win. And so that way you can still have a wild card race coming down to it. So you guys covered it, but that's essentially what I was thinking too when Dalton was talking about it.
Okay, thank you, Trenton. Trey Lau had the best option for the system. They should spin a wheel each year, and that picks the format. So, thanks, Trey.
You should spin a wheel each year, and that picks the winner.
Sure, that too. Whatever. Okay, sure. For more of that hard-hitting analysis, you can catch Trey Lau's Bringing the Heat every single Thursday afternoon, wherever you find your podcast, Google Play, Apple, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you listen to podcasts. Wrapping this program up, Dalton, you're going to be at the racetrack this weekend, so let us know what you're going to be cooking up for us on frontstretch.com.
I've got 2 interviews coming up this weekend, so you can look out for those. I'm sure I'll have one coming out on like Tuesday night or Wednesday morning or wherever you check it. Or I think it's actually be Wednesday night, Thursday morning. So sorry about that. But yeah, I'll have 2 interviews going on with some drivers that will be revealed if you check in. And then, yeah, you can also capture our coverage, watch our coverage for this weekend's race at Kansas. Danny Peters. That's right. That's
Denny.
right. The British I'm gonna say it. The British badass. He's gonna be with me this weekend. So yeah, I love working with Danny. We'll be at Kansas, and he's a great photographer, and we'll be covering the ARCA race, the Xfinity race, and the Cup Series race as well. So looking forward to it. It's gonna be a good weekend.
This is no disrespect to Danny, but he's an even better human than he is a photographer. So
And he's a great photographer.
Yeah, exactly. See, so really, really good stuff. Michael Massie, it feels like you've been on the road for like 18 million weeks besides this past weekend. But when are you going to be back on the road?
Oh, we're back at it this weekend.
Oh, okay, sure.
Martinsville Speedway.
Valley Star 300.
Yep. Valley Star Credit Union 300 at Martinsville. The big late model race of the year, where there will be 150,000 cautions and somebody will emerge as the winner eventually at 3:00 in the morning. But no, we'll be there. Myself, Chase Folsom, we'll get all the coverage for you on Saturday. You can look for all that stuff on the Front Stretch Grassroots page. Ed, you should come on down. It's not that far from you.
I'm trying to think. This weekend, I actually don't have a game this weekend.
There you go.
Right on.
There you go. Ed, are you going to be at the Cup Series race in Martinsville?
That's the plan. Yes, Utah. Are you going to be there?
Both of us.
Oh, man.
Three of us here. We'll be here.
I
Outstanding.
cannot offer my house anymore, though. Mercifully, I've sold the place off. So now I have to use my place hotels instead, which, let me rephrase it, I get to use my
There you go. There you go.
I get to use that this weekend. I saw the location because I always check my place hotel. I always check the hotel that I'm going to before the weekend, and it's a nice location. I'm very excited.
I'm excited for you. I can't wait to talk about it on the next Front Stretch Happy Hour podcast.
Shout out to you, Paul. Thanks for diving in with us here on the Happy Hour show. Mr. Ed Lane, it is always a pleasure. You mentioned no football show this weekend, but you're going to be on the radio every single day from 5 to 6. What are you going to be talking about in the later days?
Well, I'm going to have to expound a bit more upon the Denny versus Ty Gibbs situation. Drama that's been unfolding at Joe Gibbs Racing, maybe a little mea culpa as you guys already got to experience tonight about, Ty Gibbs needs to learn some lessons, and my other audiences will get to experience that. We're not above admitting when we might be wrong or need to reconsider our thoughts and opinions. So we do that regularly in the fast lane. Plenty of college football, plenty of pro football. Not as many of your audience would care about high school football, but we touch on that sometimes because it does interest the locals, and we welcome all thoughts and opinions respectfully, of course, because we like to be in a spot where we can have respectful dialogue.
You hear that, Trey Lau? Respectful opinions, my friend. I'm just kidding. I still love you, Trey. I even love you, Ty Tracy. For me, I got nothing. I'm taking a little vacation day Saturday. Boise State, they got a game against Appalachian State. So I'm going to hang out on the blue turf there, so it'll be a fun time. But I'll be on the watch party with Mike Neff and potentially Trey Lyle. We'll find out if Trey is free, but I know Neff will be there on Sunday with yours truly. So should be a fun time. Like I said a couple times, coming up next on the Front Stretch Podcast Network, bringing the heat with Trey Lyle. Featured guest Davey Siegel from SiriusXM NASCAR Radio. For Mr. Ed Lane, for Dalton Hopkins, for Michael Massie, I am Brian Timothy Dale Earnhardt Jr. III, signing off. This was another edition of the Front Stretch Happy Hour program.
I am Ty Gibbs, and I send this message to Denny, Hamlin, and any surviving auto drivers taking refuge among the racetracks. I am here. I am waiting.
What I've done, I'll face Coach Gibbs, get him on his grandson, get him to forgive, let go of what I've done. Na, 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 na.
But we consider each other family.